until we re-put this up. And we're live. What's happening, everybody? Live on Facebook, now live on Gun News Weekly. What's up, everybody? If you want to see the full show, check out Kevin the Tack Daddy channel, or check this out tomorrow. Same channel. We'll have the live show reposted. And it looks like we're all set, ready to go there. I'm going to mute real quick for a quick break, and then we'll be right back to get started.
So I probably got to monitor Kevin the Tack Daddy too, right?
Nah, not so much.
Kevin the Tack Daddy.
Kevin the Tack Daddy. .com.
.com.
How you been, Casey?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Real good.
Good.
How's business treating you?
Yeah, it's good, man.
Busy?
Yeah, not necessarily the busy you want, but yeah, man, it's
right.
It's all right.
When your business busy can be not exactly the best thing in the world, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. We're back. What Ross, see if you can find a recent story related to that.
I did.
You did?
I did.
What's the recent one?
A GOP senator wants to.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You're right. I'll throw it to you. All right, cool. Dude, I love your knives. And the new stuff looks really cool and promising. So, peace. My boy Bastinelli. I think he's in Italy or someplace like that. So you know how you become fans of people that you follow on Instagram, shit like that?
Sure.
There's a couple knife guys that I swear every time they post something, just so you know, I'm watching. What's up, Matt? What's up, DJ? All right. Time to go live on the big show. Everybody watching on Gun News Weekly over on Facebook. If you want to watch and actually see Casey, Ross, and myself and the videos we're going to be talking about, and there are a couple that we're going to go over tonight, let's go on over to Kevin the Tack Daddy channel on YouTube, or Gun Channels if you're a member over there. You guys ready to roll?
Let me ask you a question on Kevin the Tack Daddy YouTube. Why can I never fucking find that video?
Because it's not live yet.
Oh, it has to go live first.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Gotcha.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's get rocking.
Yep.
And we're off and running.
Not yet. There it is.
Dang, Thursday night. Casey's here, Ross is here. A couple of gun stories that weren't really gun stories this week. Pretty cool video from a Tampa store that got robbed. Check that out. Check out LTV Combat. Check out Keybar. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out everydaycarrylife.com where you can get that Kanai brand. It's good stuff. You're going to hear more about it soon, I'm sure. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Casey, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. Just another Thursday night.
It is. It is. Cowboys are playing, but F the Cowboys. Ross, what's up?
Hail to the Redskins.
There we go. That is the proper response, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, man, doing great.
Cool.
Cold out here in Colorado.
Got your
I don't know what cold is down there in Florida anymore,
got your Big Three T-shirt on there. I see that. That reminds
I
you.
sure
of the
do,
cold
man.
Of the
Shout
war.
out to the Big Three, man. CJ and his crew out there.
There you go. A couple more quick shout outs. Shout out to Chad in Tennessee. Appreciate the input on one of the stories we'll be talking on tonight. And I also wanted to thank everybody for anybody that jumped on and participated on Everyday Carry Life or TackDaddy.com and supported us, because that's what you do when you buy there. The Black Friday sale put us over the top. Great month there. Really appreciate all the support, more than you know. And in case you didn't know, and some of you don't that are watching right now, go on over to tacdaddy.com, click the $250 giveaway banner, and like a couple of the pages. And the next thing you know, you'll be entered to win a $250 gift certificate, so to speak, giveaway.
Nice.
And that's just, we're trying to say thanks. And I'm saying that as I get rid of these dang installers that keep showing up when I start this show. Google. Hey, people had trouble with their shows the last couple nights.
Are you getting Java messages?
Couldn't get on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't even really know what we're getting. We're getting some sort of installer keeps jumping in. But anyway, we're good to go tonight. Appreciate everybody jumping in once again over on Gun News Weekly and on Facebook. If you want to win a key bar, it's simple. Go enter that $250 sweepstakes. I'm going to pull a winner from the end of that. Before the end of the night tonight, we'll announce it. You'll get your choice of one of the very cool key bars that we have on the way. Not here yet, but they're on the way, and we have the giveaway, so we'll do that. All right, let's talk about weed. Ross.
Oh my goodness, the hell of a way to
You like doing it.
kick it off.
You
Chronic.
got this story, Ross, about this senator.
Well, you know, the since we've got a couple more states now that are entering the realm of, I guess, what you would call legal marijuana, the feds, and there's lots of discussion out there right now about you can't buy a gun if you're smoking the weed. If you got a medical marijuana card, or if you're using it for medical purposes, or I guess recreational, but they have no way to track the recreational so much. But certainly the card holders. The article that I ran across actually pertains to that. Is some senators are actually fighting for, our veterans and people who need this stuff for whatever reason. Fighting for those guys to keep their Second Amendment right. U.S. Senator Lisa, I'll never get it right, but Murkowski up in Alaska, who just recently legalized medical marijuana, is trying to preserve her state's Second Amendment rights for her citizens. So I thought that was a good story.
We had the Court of Appeals that upheld the ban, so to speak, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals earlier this year, and again, marijuana remains illegal under federal law, and that's causing a bunch of problems with banking. It's causing a bunch of problems with interstate commerce, so to speak. Some of those laws, but it's obviously also now you have. I just showed the map of the United States. The Constitution covers that whole map. There's all these states that are dotted that have decided that, we're in favor of this plant that grows out of the ground, that if you look up the history of marijuana and you know about William Randolph Hearst and what he owned and why he did what he did and why all of a sudden marijuana became this terrible thing that became class 1. And that's the real problem.
That's crazy.
That people are not allowed to treat and again, we all have friends that smoke weed at this point. We all know people that smoke weed at this point. There's not a big secret anymore. This is like the generation that it's kind of changing, I think. But at the same time, there's still a lot of people in charge that think it's a gateway drug. It's mind blowing. So
I'll tell you why this is so scary, because first it's marijuana, and my opinion is this is a states' rights thing. You know what I mean? Because the federal government got involved in the drug war and classification of drugs, they stole that right from the state, basically. But as we've seen in I guess the last 3 or 4 or 5 elections, more and more states are choosing to make this stuff legal, at least for medical purposes. So it starts with the marijuana, and then it's, you had to take a painkiller? Well, give me your guns. You need to take a psychotropic or whatever they call that? Give me your guns. You know what I mean? This is the nibble that we always talk about, that they're just going to take what seems like obviously common sense to someone who doesn't need the stuff for medical purposes. And they'd say, come on, it's just common sense. And we give into something like that for the safety of the community,
Well,
not
and
realizing.
that's what they think. That, this notion that people that smoke weed are somehow more dangerous.
Right, not
is
realizing
insane.
what
I used to have this
effects
conversation
marijuana
with
even has on somebody.
Ross. I used to have this conversation.
They've never
with,
hung out with potheads.
I used to have this conversation with Mom after college, Ross. I used to say to her things like, you know what? I used to watch a bunch of guys go into a room with a keg of beer, and I used to watch that behavior. And I used to watch a bunch of guys go into a room and smoke a bunch of weed, and I used to watch that behavior. Trust me, those dudes that are smoking weed are not the troublemakers.
No, they're not.
By
And
any measure.
really, yeah, I would like to see the statistics that back up that because you smoke pot, you should lose your Second Amendment right. I'd like to see what statistics are telling them that everybody who shoots somebody is smoking weed.
Well, again, the court said that Congress had reasonably concluded that marijuana and other drug use, quote, raises the risk of irrational or unpredictable behavior with which gun use should not be associated. Yet, once again, pointing out the obvious, there are millions of alcoholics and there are millions of
Show me the
poppers.
history of that. Show me the history
Show
of
me
the
where that's gone
erratic
down.
behavior
Correct.
from pot smokers.
Correct.
Well, that's the problem. There's not. I mean,
I'm sure there's isolated incidents, as with everything, but I'll bet you get in a hell of a lot more trouble with alcohol than you do with pot.
there's absolutely no question.
It's insane.
Marijuana was the number one longest. This is what my family, we discussed at Thanksgiving meal. That was like the topic of conversation was marijuana.
That's a hell of a Thanksgiving.
It was.
So no one brought up the election. They just wanted to talk about getting high.
Hey, who brought the brownies?
Actually, my aunt talked about it. But no, I mean, it's one of those things. It's coming.
You mean nationwide?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only a matter of time.
I think corporate interests. This is something that's rarely discussed, but again, get Marlboro involved, get Camel or one of these, Philip Morris.
No.
Get them involved, and the next thing you know, and again, I have a friend that's in the industry behind the scenes doing some things with licensing in the weed world out in California, and the numbers are insane. And the things that are going on in the states where it is legal,
Yeah.
Ross, you can speak on Colorado.
Oh yeah, please. You don't need Philip Morris, dude. That shit is prolific.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's launched this whole new entrepreneur, all
Green
these
Rush.
entrepreneurs are now being successful.
Right.
Guys, in Colorado, I did a little research before the show. In Colorado, a homeowner is allowed to grow up to 99 plants legally for himself.
Like around the house, like in a
I guess
big
in your
circle around
backyard
the
if
house.
you wanted to.
Huh.
I guess, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I mean, that sounds like a full-grown
Now,
operation. Of course, to sell it to anybody would be illegal, but if you wanted to, I mean, I don't even know what that works out to, but you'd have to fill a silo with it or something. If you wanted to keep all that around, I guess you could.
right.
Yeah.
An old article: 25 states have sanctioned some form of marijuana use for medical purposes. That's half. Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, and D.C. now allow recreational use for adults, while California and 8 other states have recreation and/or medical proposals headed for the ballots, which have been a bunch of them just went through, including here in Florida for medical. So that becomes the question, and we talked about this on a previous show. You go and you get your medical marijuana card so that you can participate in what you have as a drug of choice. Ross, we'll talk about drug of choice, whether it be alcohol, which is completely accepted. Drive down to any bar, go into any restaurant, go to the grocery store, the liquor store, take home as much alcohol as you can possibly consume and kill yourself. No problem. You can do it at any time as a 21-year-old in America. You're going to be able to go get a card now, though, that's going to identify you and possibly interfere with what is your Second Right Amendment to protect yourself. It's insane.
So the other thing that you got to remember is let's take recreational aside, because the recreational side of the marijuana, because Colorado's a recreational state, apparently, the recreational side, there is no card. There's no way to track you. You can walk into a store and go buy some stuff and then walk out and nobody knows you're Jim from Jack to John. Now, I've heard that there are video cameras and stuff like that, so I don't know if there's like surveillance or something like that, but the medical thing is the bigger concern here, because you've got a lot of veterans.
Ross, I'm hearing Alex Jones in my ear right now. They have the documents. They're doing facial scans.
they can figure everybody out.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't doubt nothing these days.
What's that,
But the
Joe
biggest
Biggs?
concern is our veterans, guys. We know tons of veterans who suffer from PTSD who use medical marijuana as relief for that symptom. What happens to those guys? You really going to take their guns away from them?
Listen, I mean, the doctor is the expert, okay?
Yeah.
If you need marijuana for your health and well-being, then it's just like any other prescription drug. Okay? We all know prescription drugs can be dangerous, deadly, addicting, whatever. But it is prescribed to you by a doctor. I don't think that anybody that's got a legal prescription should have to forfeit their Second Amendment rights.
Boom. That's exactly what I think. Because again, if we let them do that, if we as a country allow our politicians to limit our Second Amendment right based off of a drug that a doctor prescribed,
Right.
what takes any of the other ones out of consideration?
But with
if
marijuana,
you're on aspirin, sorry, man, you could be, have a reaction to that aspirin, and that's just ridiculous.
well, just like guns, marijuana is the same. It's all about education. So, and again, I kind of did the educating role at Thanksgiving, but a lot of people they're like, oh, marijuana, that's dope. That's really bad. We can't have that, and God, no, we can't mix that with guns.
You're a hippie.
And
You're going to be sitting in a couch. You're nothing but trouble.
Right.
You're going to get paranoid.
So-
You're going to freak out.
Right. Which, I think it's all about educating people, because I think you'd have a hard time getting a vote to pass where people are like, oh, yeah, I think it's a great idea that people that, smoke dope all the time and get all messed up or, can carry guns. That's not going to sit well with the average Joe and Susie public. But again, I think it's one of those things they'll do whatever it is you may do. But on medical, I don't think they should mess with anybody's rights just because that's part of their wellness regimen. So
I'm with you on that one, especially when it comes to, again, people that are treating anything from, again, there's people that call in and, I have XYZ and everybody knows it's bullshit, but there's a lot of people that legitimately
let's
can
be
use
honest.
the
I mean,
street.
what percentage of the American population now consume marijuana on a monthly basis, at least once a month? It's probably much higher than you would ever imagine.
Okay, so you
Housewives
can
are
break
smoking
that
weed?
down. You can break that down to just statistics. Show me the statistics that say that, it's not like that stuff like people just started smoking pot.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not like when they make pot legal, all of a sudden there's 40 million people that start smoking pot. People just come out of the closet to smoke pot.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And where are the statistics that show that pot smokers are violent, unpredictable people? Alcoholics are more unpredictable.
I think the only thing that they're going to have to go by is they're going to have to look at the statistics that come out of these early adopter legalization states. And
So
based
I
off
did a
of-
little research on that in Colorado too.
I know it's mainly good.
How much money are they bringing in, Ross?
Billions a year.
And
Billions
that's-
With a B?
of dollars in taxes. Now that's the double-edged sword there, right? Because that makes our politicians fat and happy, and we don't want fat, happy politicians.
Where does that money go? It's cash.
So when Colorado signed the bill to legalize recreational marijuana, the taxes were slated to go to K through 12 schools and drug prevention.
No, I'm
But-
talking about the cash itself, Ross. I'm talking about the piles of cash because they're not allowed to use electronic forms with federally insured banks.
I don't know, but I know that I don't know exactly how it works. I didn't really research that
All right.
stuff, but I can tell you that it's highly regulated, that there are video cameras in every part of the store, and there is somebody watching that video all the time. There are inspectors that show up at the farms that grow these things. Yeah, there are. It's a big business, Kevin. It's a big
All
business for the
All right, we can talk about weed all night, it looks like. So let's shift gears.
Yeah.
It's 17 after the hour. Thanks everybody for tuning in on all three platforms. Appreciate everybody on Facebook saying what's up. If you want to see the videos we're gonna be watching, check out Kevin the Tack Daddy or gun channels on YouTube. Couple of stories about guns that didn't show up. Ohio State attack leaves 11 injured and the suspect dead. Guy runs some people over, jumps out, grabs a knife, starts doing some slashing, cuts a lot of people. And he was an 18-year-old student at the school at Ohio State. Again, our condolences to everybody that saw it or had to go through it. And they say the guy was going insane. And where's the guy's name? Hold on. I had it earlier. Stand by. Here it is.
A real
Sorry,
tragedy
I have
in
it.
the story.
It fell apart here.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ross. It is.
I was just going to say the real tragedy of this story, besides the fact that people got injured and killed, I mean, that truly is horrifying. And again, I'm sure you said it, and I may have missed it, but our condolences obviously go out to those people who are affected by that. But is how unbelievably quick to cite the gun and talk about gun control and how
it was a shooting right away.
It was absolutely sickening to me, and quite frankly, it should be appalling to everybody that our media is going to put a narrative out there before the facts are given. I remember a day when they had to have the facts before they could speak.
Well, hold on. No, we do that here on this show, but that's because we don't have producers. But now I'm back on track. Sorry, I lost the article. It was University police officer Alan Horaku, who actually had been part of a training seminar and a training video on responding to active shooters. He showed up on the scene, told the guy several times to drop his knife. He did not. He felt threatened to the point that he put him down. People reported those gunshots as there's an active shooter, there's a gun, lock down the university, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where that happened. Now, they also said something very interesting, and I mentioned this on Tuesday when I jumped on Facebook for a second. They said in a tweet, and the campus Department of Public Safety put out an active shooter situation announcement that said, run, hide, fight. And I wanted to discuss that. It's a shame Rob Pincus can't be on because I know he's busy, and I didn't even bother getting in touch with him tonight because I know he's doing some things. But he had some interesting posts online on his pages that he does for PDN, et cetera. Go check them out. We both found that it was interesting that they actually said fight this time. And I definitely found it interesting that they said fight this time. It wasn't shelter in place, which I hate it when they give that order. And the other thing that I heard was a couple stories about, again, servicemen that knew exactly what to do and how to barricade the door and how to get people, and they were standing there ready to fight should the fight come to them. Now, we all know that it had been taken care of, and thank goodness it wasn't a bigger situation. But anyway, that was interesting to me that they said run, hide, fight.
You know, I really like that whole concept. I mean, you talked about Rob's posts about that. And the fact is that we're surrounded by weapons. You don't need a gun necessarily to be able to inflict damage on an attacker and, possibly gain the upper hand on him. A pair of scissors. I think one of the things that there was even a fire extinguisher, man. I mean, what a great idea.
Let's rephrase that. You don't have to have a gun.
Oh, that's exactly what I said. If you don't,
guys like us choose to. And again, a lot of the viewers choose to, but the average person that's at Ohio State University, Ross is saying, you have access to it, pick up a trash can.
Like I said, one time, I don't know if I ever told the story. One time I was flying back to DC I was coming from Italy, but we stopped in Germany. This Jordanian citizen basically went apeshit on the plane. He stood up, demanded that the plane take him back to Jordan, and then started ranting that President Bush had raped his wife and daughter. And I mean, the guy was crazy. And this was shortly after 9/11. I had a 2-liter bottle of water that was about 3/4 full.
Did you do the bottle flip and catch it and like double flip it and land it on its thing?
No flipping, smashing.
Okay.
But I remember I was geeked out and ready to roll. I went to the back to the galley because, I mean, there was a couple flight attendants and this guy came back. He's like, you need to sit down. And I told the guy, I was like,
Casey comes out with those little leader things duct taped to his hands, and he broke them, and he's got like claws now.
they're like, you need to sit down. I'm like, fuck that. I was like, no. So finally, the biggest dude came back there, massive German guy. And he looked at me and he flashed me his marshal or whatever. And he was like, you can sit down, sir. We have this under control. He said, there's me and 3 others on this plane. So there was 4 people, 4 air marshals on that international flight. And when he flashed me his badge, his gun was right next to it.
I bet.
I'm like, all right, I'm good. Yeah.
Roger.
They eventually, I remember because my wife at the time was like 7 months pregnant. They eventually, and we were in the back of the plane, they eventually took him to the very back row and they cuffed him to either side and he still wouldn't shut up. I don't know. They listened to that for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, right in the neck. Night, night.
And they just dropped him with some
Shot him up.
prescriptions.
I watched him do it. And then when we landed in Dulles, every blue coat with yellow letters from every agency got on that plane, and we were way off the tarmac, like not close to the airport. They came and got him, took him out the back door, and we were out there about 30 minutes before they took us to the terminal. It was wild.
Good gosh. Well, we got a lot to cover tonight. Let's wrap up this story, and then we'll get to some quick hitters. The other side of this story is this. Quote, when I'm at Ohio State, I cannot keep myself safe, student Jonathan Bashir said in a testimony before lawmakers on Tuesday, according to Cincinnati.com. If someone attacks me with a butcher knife or an AK-47, he continued, I'm supposed to run away, throw things them, or maybe hide under a desk and pray. Think about the terror you would experience if that was you, end quote. Now, the flip side is the member of the Ohio chapter of Moms Demand. Casey, what are you eating? I swear. The member of the Ohio chapter of Mom Demands Action for Gun Sense said, this officer showed up. He was able to identify the source of the threat quickly because there weren't other people around with superfluous handguns, she said. If the law changes and people are whipping out guns in the middle of that situation, I think it might have turned out very differently. Yeah, he would have caught a lot of lead quicker. I mean, in all honesty, and then everyone would look at each other and be like, I took that guy with the knife down. So
probably happened so quick. Could somebody be like, what happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about both sides of that. You have the kids, the students that are there saying point blank, we are smart enough to realize that we're sitting ducks on this campus if someone comes with a high-power weapon or bad, mean intent. It's finally getting through, Ross. That's kind of where I was.
So there is a university out there that has solved this problem, that communicates with its students what its expectations and what it is going to do in the situation where a concealed carry permit holder takes down a perpetrator. So it already schools its children or its kids on what it wants to see when the real police arrive. And as long as you're following their procedures, you're safe, man. There's no issue. You know what I mean? Really, this goes back to communication. If the university had the right communication, they could arm their people with concealed carry, permits or whatever, and there wouldn't be that issue.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's interesting that again, a knifing and a car attack still stirs the gun debate. To the point that again, the president of the university is having conversations about it and objecting to campus carry before it's even really proposed. All right, let's reset real quick. Go ahead, finish up your final thoughts on that.
They really need to use their common sense and let people defend themselves in all situations. We really need to rethink the gun-free zone. Of course, I harp on that all the time, but there's no statistic that says schools are deadly when people carry guns. Quite the opposite. So,
yep.
What it boils down to is the faculty don't trust. They don't trust that the students can be
Adults.
good stewards.
Adults.
the fact is, Casey, the faculty don't know because they've never shot a gun.
Hey, they're a bunch of dope smoking liberal students.
They're scared
they be
to
safe?
death of it.
Yeah, well,
for no reason, because they're irrational fears. That is what it boils down to, is irrational fear.
Absolutely. I agree. But what I'm saying is it's, they don't trust that anybody can do it right. They just see a gun as, if it's there, oh my God, it's going to go off on its own. And,
That's right.
it's
Shoot
going to,
everybody. Jump off the seat and start running around shooting people.
we'd rather, if we're going to have an active shooter, for him to, kill 60, for us to potentially, somebody not to get shot every day because somebody can't carry their gun correctly.
The fact of the matter is until Ohio, the faculty told you that to shelter in place and wait to be a sitting duck, basically. Ohio was the first time I really even had heard about the run, hide, fight, which is
It's the first time they've done it.
Motto.
It's the first
The
time they've
fight,
done it.
it was great, man. It was like James here was the dean. It was like, fight. I'm like, Jesus.
All right,
Hold on.
let's reset real quick. What's up to everybody on Facebook, on Gun News Weekly? If you want to see the videos, you want to see us talking over here on Kevin the Tac Daddy channel, we'll repost the show on Gun News Weekly tomorrow morning. What do we got coming up? We've got mob clears out a Tampa gun store. We got a smash and grab for the ages that we'll show in just a little bit. We've got 3 stories on gun sales, 3 stories on shootings in America. Our good friend Jared Ogden at the end of the show, we'll have a video that I promise is worth hanging out to check out. And I wanted to mention Ross. This is a 2-way warning and message to everybody on Facebook. With SHOT Show just a little bit more than a month and a little bit overway, we're sponsored tonight by Airborne. Make sure you get your Airborne going.
Oh,
1,000 milligrams a day, Ross, minimum.
The feed just died, Kevin. We're no longer live. No.
We're gonna ramp it up, Ross, right before we get there. Mad stuff. We're gonna be wide.
Dude,
awake from
I'm a man
vitamin
of steel.
C.
I don't get sick. So
All right, I'm gonna be.
Oh my God, famous last words.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna be
I
snorting.
popped the cork at 5, I think. But
Oh my God.
I'm gonna be crushing these things and snorting them on the plane ride over to Vegas.
Did you say snorting then?
I think that's the best way to get it in your system, isn't it? Mainline. I'm gonna mainline them. I know the jargon.
I'm stoked about SHOT, Kevin. I'm totally stoked. And Casey, you're going, right?
Yeah. We need to, Kev, we need to talk.
Yeah, we got you.
After the email.
You got it.
Oh, by the way, real quick, not to side rail, smash and grab. Did y'all see the guy that got $1.6 million in a gold bucket from New York?
What?
Just look it up in the viewers. It's a trending video. It's like the top 10 video on YouTube right now. An older Asian male, probably in his 50s, 60s. There's a armored car. There's an armored truck on the side roads of New York City.
Right.
There's a bucket, some buckets in the back. This bucket is filled with gold bars and pure gold.
And it's his?
It was the delivery, the like Brinks, like a armored truck. It was just sitting in the back of the truck. One of the armed drivers went inside to do their business. The one that was in the back went to the front to grab a cigarette. And it was like a crime of opportunity, like he happened to be walking by. The tailgate's down on this truck. He's like, what's in these buckets? They said the bucket weighed 80 pounds.
And he took it?
He just carried off a $1.6 million worth of gold.
Put the link in the internal. We'll watch it at the end of the
They haven't found the guy. This was back in September. They suspect he's in Florida somehow.
Of course.
But I mean, they followed security cameras the whole way down. And I mean, like, he has to stop every 100 feet because it's so damn heavy.
Oh my gosh.
I'll find the link.
Yeah, find the link. We'll watch that one. All right, we have 3 quick stories that are all kind of related. Post-election minorities are waking up to the value of gun rights. Background checks set a new Black Friday record. And gun sales rise driven by fearful Black and LGBT buyers. They left out the Q again. But the main story in the middle there is that NICS checks on Friday alone was 185,713, which is about 400 over last year's record-setting total, which, again, if you add up people who bought more than one, it's probably a couple 100,000 total. That's a huge number, and obviously it's a lot of people were waiting for good deals, and I guess a lot of people got them.
This is fantastic news. This just means that there are going to be more people familiar with firearms. The more people we have on the bandwagon, the more myths we can dispel. the better our industry thrives.
It looks like it's on set to break again the 23 million checks that they did last year, which means they're averaging 2 million a month in general, which is just, again, crazy for the guns. We've done stories on the gun companies and their stocks and all that kind of stuff, and you see what some of these companies are doing, trying to reinvent the wheel, and just, you know, putting lipstick on pigs and all that kind of fun stuff. But it's there's a lot of people buying guns and protecting themselves.
Dude, I've seen it. I have countless friends that reached out that are not gun people, but are showing that interest, and, you know, seeing photos of people buying guns, you know, on Facebook that you would have never thought, you know, would have that interest. So
I heard, and I wanted to get this story for the show tonight, but I couldn't find it. But I heard that the gal from Young Turks, who's been just anti-gun forever, finally on air the other night, point blank said, "I got to go get my gun."
Oh yeah, she's got to protect herself from evil Trump. Yeah.
There you go. She's upset. Okay, so anyway, there's more on this with the minorities. Excuse me. This is a retake on a MSNBC story, but in sunny Austin, Texas, Mike Cargill, owner of Central Texas Gun Works, who is black himself, reported a large increase in African Americans buying guns, along with Muslim, Hispanic, and LGBT patrons. It's not too sure how he knows if they're LGB or T, but they said that.
All right. I got a question. I got a question. I got to ask this question because it just strikes me as the climate lately. Why do we have to now? Why is it important that these people are minorities or gay or what their sexual preference is?
Because that's been the separation of the election, Ross. That's what again.
I just don't understand why we have to perpetuate it. I understand the importance that we're saying that people that feel threatened or buying guns.
Because it says here, Scott is an African American. He's one of the many minorities who has been flocking to gun stores to protect himself after Trump's victory. He thinks it will incite more hate crimes.
Gun stores for 20 years.
Because of what we talked about last week, we know that the mainstream news, the big stations that people are watching after dinner time or during dinner time is doing nothing but fear mongering, nothing but the other side is out to get you, nothing but this is going to be the end of the world. You've seen those videos, the compilation of all the people that were on TV basically saying, you know, the end of the Rachel Maddows and all those types of people. So everyone's watching this, and now they're flocking to gun stores, and those people happen to be minorities, is what this article is saying.
I'm sorry that those people feel threatened, and I think
Ross,
it's because
if that's what makes them get to the point that they want to protect themselves at home and that kind of thing, I don't got a problem with that.
It's not fair that they feel threatened to the point where we're pushing them that way. I think it's a great thing too, to be honest with you. But the fact of the matter is the quicker we can take race out of the conversation, the quicker we can solve some of these issues that we have, you know, between, you know, the white guy. You know what I mean? I mean,
It's interesting to note that, again, from a different article, polling done over the last 20 years shows that blacks and Hispanics specifically have supported more gun control by margins of 2 or 3 to 1. So there is a turn here. There is a turn here. Yes.
I want to know how you know a guy's gay, though. Really.
Gaydar.
Did they put that on the form you got to fill out now or something?
I guess if they dot their I's with hearts, I don't know.
Okay, I understand. All right.
All right. On to the next set of stories. These are kind of the ones that there was a bunch of things that happened this week that I didn't even hear about until I started doing some research today. 10 shot, 1 fatally on Bourbon Street. Police in New Orleans are looking for 2 people in connection with the shooting early Sunday that left 1 man dead, 9 other people injured. It happened about 1:30. Famous Bourbon Street. The man who was killed was a 25-year-old Demontres Tolliver, and it was not the intended target of the shooting. Neither were the 7 other men and women who were shot. 2 people have been arrested for illegally carrying a firearm, but neither are suspects in the shooting. So they shook down a bunch of people.
8 people were shot. None of them were the intended target.
Correct. Police superintendent said the argument migrated to Bourbon Street and turned into a shootout. They want to track down these people. They don't have them. The victims range from 20 to 37. 5 of them have been treated and released. The other 4 are expected to fully recover. The man killed was a tattoo artist. and his death marks the 162nd homicide in New Orleans this calendar year.
So what are the chances that these guys that were popping off rounds and not hitting their targets had legal guns on them versus illegal guns?
Or training. Probably none.
Poor training. They haven't shot enough rounds downrange. But do you think those guns were legally purchased, or do you think those guns were illegally seized or taken from somebody?
I don't know.
I'll bet you the latter.
Here's the next one. Kansas City, a rolling shootout left 7 wounded. An early morning gun battle in Kansas City on Sunday. So this was going on kind of the same time. Injured 7 people, but the police chief says they're lucky there were not more victims. That the incident was a rolling shootout between at least 2 vehicles spanning 8 city blocks.
Wow, that's some Grand Theft Auto there.
It is. Speaking of, we'll have that video in just a little bit because I got a big question about that one from this week.
Oh, the girls in the parking lot.
When the shooting finally stopped, 7 people had been shot. The victims were transported. Again, the gun battle went on. Three vehicles were involved. The victims were transported to the hospital. 6 were treated, released. 1 remained serious condition. No officers injured. Would-be robbers make the mistake of targeting Chicago shop where a concealed carry person works. Around 9:45 p.m. What day? It doesn't tell me. I guess it was yesterday. They entered in with the store with a gun and announced for robbery. However, the store clerk, who police confirmed is a valid CC permit holder, also pulled out a gun and opened fire on them. Both men fled from the scene, but Thomas was struck in the shoulder by a bullet, and another guy had a graze wound. The
Good
third
guy with a
suspect,
gun stops a bad guy.
they
with
arrested
the gun.
all of them, and they got $900,000 bond on 2 of them and $250 on 1. Another armed robbery occurred in the same neighborhood several hours later, but the victims were shot by their assailants. In that incident, 2 women were walking outside the sidewalk at 1 a.m. when they were approached by 2 men armed with guns. The suspect demanded money, but when they informed the would-be robbers they didn't have any cash, one of the suspects opened fire, striking one woman in the foot and grazing the other woman's leg. Both will recover. No arrests have been made in that one. Chicago is not a safe place.
Man, it's not a safe week.
Talk about that all the time. All right. Tampa. If you guys know any of these people, if you can identify any of these people, there's a mad reward. It's dark at first, but stay with me. Here we go.
I thought you were going to prank me and like us three's picture or something.
Here we go. Here we go. Look at that mob of people. They crashed the truck in.
What?
These dudes had bags. They're all in dark clothes with hoods and masks.
How many of them are there?
I counted like 2,900.
Oh my
No, I think it's like 20, 25 or 30 people, man. They're in. They get what they need. You know there's going to be a couple greedy ones go back. And this shop, they got 40 guns. And this was in Tampa.
Fact of the matter is it's that easy anywhere that leaves their guns out.
40. That's it?
Yeah.
Is that all they had? It's like
They smashed
That's
it
only
pretty
like
good.
one-
Where's that? There's
it's only
actually,
like 1 gun per person.
hold on. There's actually a shot of the there's the shop in the morning.
Holy hell!
So they're asking again. Authorities are asking the public for help, and there's a $10,000 reward for the people. If you were on a couch and a bunch of dudes came home with fresh guns that night, you should make a phone call. You can make 10 G's.
Holy shit!
Smash and grab. True sense of it. Unbelievable. So anyone that wonders how guns get on the street, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, and really any determined thief. I mean, you use your car to get through the storefront of any store. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Bars or not, you ain't getting stopped.
Here's another one that I just pulled up. I didn't have a chance to preview, but Minneapolis officers under investigation A Minneapolis officer is under investigation for shooting at a car full of people. He fired his gun while answering a call last week. He was police were responding to a call of a large brawl. An officer told Wade to put her in car. The officer that the car fired his gun. There's a lot of people involved, and there's a bunch of names. So police responding to reports of people were fighting. They weren't suspects. Those in the car that night, their families are black. Well, it's going to be another racial story. There's got to be more to this. I'm going to have to get some more backup stories because there's a couple questions I have just reading it quickly that aren't in the story. But the Minneapolis officer is definitely under investigation for what he did.
We don't condone bad cops.
Nope. We don't condone bad people. All right, I got 2 quick videos. One you probably saw because it's been seen by just about everyone in America, it looks like. But I have a question about this. And the question is simply, if you're there, do you let this happen and you just keep your distance and get the hell away from it? Or do you try to stop it? That's my question on that, on two videos. So let's watch the first one here. All right, so there's a fight. There's some cursing. Then they jump in their cars, and it goes full on.
I never seen this. Like, for real?
Now that passenger just got out of the car. Now this car comes right at them and takes the door off. Or tries to. Go home. Oh, whoa, whoa. Now it really went after her. Yeah, she did.
Oh, is she going back? Oh!
So now the camera angle changes to someone that was across the street watching this. You got multiple angles in this one. The finishing move is my favorite, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the happy birthday in the background. The girl's just talking as this is going on. Here you go, Ross. You ready? All right,
Dude,
so-
both those people need mental evaluation.
all right,
Yeah,
then-
and that one,
Then there's this from last week. I'll just fast forward. Look, my question is, do responsible gun owners go to Black Friday and participate in
no.
this bullshit?
Dude, I'm
Oh.
about to hit you with a public service announcement.
Please go ahead, Ross.
If you do that shit for a toaster, you're a fucking idiot. That's
Well, this
all I'm going to
just-
say about that.
this goes to show you, if shit
Why
ever
is
does
it that,
get
what
bad,
is it about Black Friday? Seriously, dude, are the deals like, are you getting the shit for free or something? I mean,
No.
is it like manna is falling from the sky and there's only so much, and if you don't get it, you don't go to heaven?
I
or
know there's
something?
good gun deals,
I mean-
Ross. We talked about it earlier. A couple 100,000 people thought so, but
the
I didn't
gun-
see
you don't
it.
have
I didn't see
shootings
one
in
video.
gun shops.
I didn't see one video of a gun shop getting overrun. I guess that's kind of my point. Of showing out.
it just goes to show you when our resources become limited because of some sort of natural disaster, this is the type of people you're going to deal with. And,
Oh,
thi-
dude.
and this is just over non-essential bullshit. Think when somebody can't feed themselves.
KC, they don't even show you what the goddamn product is until they take the cover off it with
Right.
the, you know what I mean? And you got 700 people like clubbing each other for a bloody Oscar toaster.
Yeah,
Are you
it's
kidding me?
Who do you
Are
blame? Who do you
kidding me?
blame, Ross?
I blame the parents.
All right, let's talk about.
Somebody said that shit was okay.
Now, Ross.
I blame the media. I blame the parents. I blame the industry. I blame the consumer and the and the businesses. I blame all y'all.
All right.
Quit doing that shit.
Stand by Facebook. I'm going out. My phone's dying, so you're gonna have to go on over to YouTube and check the rest of the show. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week. Peace. My phone's gonna die. Ross, you're gonna have to make some wardrobe changes. Levi Strauss. Do you hear this?
You know what, Kevin? I stopped wearing Levi when I started in the construction industry because Carhartt makes a better product, and thank God I did, because Levi's.
The iconic blue jean maker has a CEO named Chip Berg, and he penned a open letter asking people not to bring firearms into their locations. He advised that there had been an inadvertent discharge of a firearm in a store, injuring the customer who was carrying the gun, but then went on to paint a darker picture of the world. And he basically said, quote, "The heartfelt and strongly held opinions of both sides of the gun debate. We respectfully ask people not to bring firearms into our stores, offices, or facilities, even if it's in states where it's permitted by law."
Because guns go off in Levi's stores all the time.
Of course,
What a
authorized members of
ridiculous-
law enforcement are the exception. He wrote, "It all boils down to this. You shouldn't have to be concerned about your safety while shopping for clothes or trying on a pair of jeans." Now, where
You're
are
right,
these
you
stores?
shouldn't.
Outlet malls, and standalone Levi stores? Is that what we're talking about here?
I didn't even know there was Levi stores. I don't.
Oh, shit.
Oh yeah,
My girl chimed in. My girl chimed in, Casey. Quote, "Levi's invented blue jeans, and today they are not only reinventing what it means to wear jeans, but also what it means to keep customers and employees safe in their stores, offices, or facilities," said Shannon Watts, founder of Moms Demand Action.
Sure.
"This is common sense," she continued. "No one should have to worry about their safety when shopping for jeans."
You're right. Nobody should have to, but the simple fact is they do.
The fact is that until today, how many guns do you think have been in those Levi stores, and how many people have been shot at a Levi store? None. Another incredibly irrational fear by a grown-ass man that owns a company or is the CEO of a company. What a shame of where we're at today. What a shame.
I just don't understand, by making a statement like that, you're going to alienate a large group of people that are probably going to say, "F you, Levi's."
You know what, though? These big companies are making this choice. Starbucks, Levi's,
Yeah.
Chipotle, all
No,
these,
why?
because they feel righteous. They feel like they can pick
Again.
this one social topic and make a stand on it and appear holier than thou.
Yeah, but do they think this is going to be good for business?
They must.
I mean,
Now,
Here's the flip side to it. It could be a brilliant marketing plan. Levi's
when-
for 50 years has sold to the conservative market. Now they're going to tap completely in to the liberal market. It could be
maybe
genius.
again, when you're the CEO, your responsibility is to make profits
For the stock.
for your company,
His
whatever.
responsibility is to make jeans, not care about the guy carrying a gun in. He's an expert on jeans, not Second Amendment rights or anything else. He needs to keep his opinion to himself. I'm gonna
agree.
say this, and I say it a lot. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got them, and they always stink.
You know what? Though? I mean, why not put a sticker on there that says firearms aren't allowed? If that's what you want to do, why go off on this? Because like I said, all you're going to do is piss people off. I guess the question is, they feel as if they're going to gain more customers by making the statement versus how many they're going to lose by pissing people off. I don't get it.
How can you possibly think that singling out even a quarter of the population, you don't want them in your stores anymore, is going to be good for your business in any way, shape, or form? You think that liberals are going to go, "Oh, well, I think I'm going to shop there because I feel safer"?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
I mean, that's my argument. I mean, it makes no sense.
I can't drop this next story because we'll talk about it for 50 minutes. Let me do a couple quick hitters.
Oh, I sent you the gold video, by the way.
Yeah, see, I don't even think we're going to have time for that. CZ's got the new striker-fired pistol. We talked about that briefly. The Marines are going to outfit an entire battalion with suppressors in a test. That'll be interesting to find out more about. The Inglourious Bastards glove gun is for sale. Do you remember that?
Hmm.
Ruger's got a new target model, which
Really?
22?
no, it's like their 1911 looking thing.
Oh, gotcha.
The SR 19 the new model retails for just over $1,000. 5-inch
For a
barrel,
Ruger?
target model, 8 and 7 round mag. It looks like the same exact thing, but like a little bit beefed up, a little bit nicer.
So we're going to find time to talk about the 5 best-selling handguns of 2016.
That is up, and then the press check video, and then Jared, and then we're out of here. Everything else can have to wait till later. The 5
All right,
best-selling
I'm just
handguns
looking
of
forward to
2016. I got some questions about this. The Smith & Wesson Shield, the Ruger LCP, the Springfield XDS, the 6-hour P938, and the Glock 19. Once again, referring to Rob, go check out the article and what he had to say about the SIGs. I don't have that experience. I can't draw from it. I can talk about the 19's an awesome gun. I can agree that the LCP is a good gun. I don't agree that it should be your everyday carry. And the Shield, I'm going to have to try. It's just to the point now.
Well,
Yeah,
remember
sure, yeah.
that this is the best-selling handguns and not necessarily the best concealed carry handguns. Although I agree with the Smith & Wesson being up there at top tier. I would also put the Glock up there at the top tier. I wouldn't put them all the way down at 5, but I would have much rather have seen the LC9 in this list than the LCP. While I own both, I think the LC9 is a much more capable gun and as easy to conceal as that LCP.
You just wanted to talk about your guns.
Well, yeah, and we had talked about maybe a little controversy on this one, and I know you love your LCP, but
Well, I love it as a backup gun. I think the 19 is an obvious choice for almost anybody.
but even as a backup gun, why not carry a full size 9mm? I mean, you're not talking about a bigger gun by much, you know, an inch here and there.
No,
We're
that
talking about
LCP is
the
a
size of
tiny,
the
Ross.
LCP.
That LCP is the best modern day Derringer there is. You know what I mean? It's 6-7
Yeah.
rounds and it's
And
tiny,
3.8.
super thin.
Piss off the bear.
That's what it is.
I know.
It is what it is. You're funny.
What's cool about that is all those guns are compacts and subcompacts, which means you probably have more concealed carriers.
Oh yeah, and quite frankly, man, I had a chance to get a hold of the Springfield XDS this last weekend.
What do you
It's a
think?
good gun.
It really is, and it feels fantastic in your hand for as blocky as it looks.
All right, challenge accepted. I'll have to check that one out as well. Hey, we're not going to get to this week. We'll have to talk to it next week. But there's a big rumbling online with some videos and some social media posts and a couple videos here. I mean, a couple articles here, guns.com and a couple other ones. But basically, Howard Stern, Trump, other people talking about national carry reciprocity. And again, for people that I don't know what we're talking about, they were talking about taking your license that you get to conceal carry in your state and giving you that ability to use it similar to you do as a driver's license is what most people compare it to. Who regulates it, where you get it from, all that stuff is all the question and the rumblings, and people are drawing lines in the sand and saying this, that, and the other. The point is it's being talked about, and if you go through some loopholes and get a Utah and get something else and get another one, you can do it anyway. I don't know necessarily that this means reinvent the wheel and start a registry of people that have a national license. I think it just means that if you have a license in your state, it's good when you travel. I think that's really
Just like
really
your
all that we're
license,
looking
just like
for.
your driver's license.
That's really all we're looking for anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
A car
We'll get
is
into
a
that next
dangerous
week.
weapon.
Let-
More people are killed on the roadway than by guns every year. A car is far more dangerous than a gun. Why in the world wouldn't you let a legal gun owner carry across state lines? It makes no sense whatsoever. Again, I think we're in the era of actual common sense gun laws.
Well, let's talk about,
And I think reciprocity is right up there.
The only difference is most cars are legal to drive in all 50 states, and the only thing you have is certain states have different laws than others. So if I go into New York and I'm carrying my Glock 19, I'm not in compliance with the law.
Yeah, but I can't ride my motorcycle without a helmet in my state, but I probably could in yours. You know what I mean? So you got to follow their restrictions on guns, but it doesn't mean you can't protect yourself in their state.
Right. Now I get it.
all right. I said we were going to talk about it this week. Aren't you listening?
Yeah, but who would have thought Howard Stern would have been the advocate for that?
All
That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's an interesting point. All right. So I don't usually attack people, and usually when I make jokes on social media and that kind of stuff, it's literally trying to get a rise out of one person, and then everybody else starts arguing with each other. And that's fan the fire. That's me.
Troublemaker.
Whatever. Manipulator is what Kevin Gardner's mom used to call me. So anyway, everyone knows this. I'm just not a big fan of the press check. I believe that as an adult, if you're going to carry a gun, if you're going to own guns, you should obey the general rules of those guns so that a discharge and an accidental discharge doesn't go off. And that means, again, your finger's not on the trigger. You're not pointing at anything you're not willing to destroy. You treat it like it's loaded all the time. And you're aware of the backstop. But those rules right now, this gun that I have right here, again, in a holster that I carry in my waistband all the time, I know exactly what condition's in. I'm an adult. When I leave the house, I know for sure that there's a round in the chamber and it's ready to go should I need it.
Are you going to show the video?
Yeah, and usually what I'm making fun of, and usually what I like kind of snicker about, is the competitive shooting world and this whole. Again, anytime you watch a video of a guy doing his draws and practicing or whatever, there's this incessant press check thing that goes on, and that's usually what I'm talking about. But this video came across that when I was looking up stories, and this guy, again, by all accounts, is a very reputable, great guy, but I just don't agree with his philosophy. And this is one that we'll share real quick, and we can have a discussion.
Just draw the firearm, slide back, check the status of the weapon system, magazine. What I'm going to do is load the firearm just like I do every time I go. If it's speed reload, tactical reload or not. So fingers up, turn the gun in the hand, pull, make sure, slide release. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch between the rear sight and the back strap. I can support the gun here. Get your fingers away from the muzzle. Here's good. Up in front's not. I'm looking elevation just to see if I get a little bit of brass there, and then I'm fine. Now, some of your firearms may have an extruding extractor. You can reach up and touch that as well and find that you've got a round in the chamber. Or just like this Smith & Wesson, I can actually elevate. It's got a hole down through, and I can see that I've got brass. At that point, come to your ready position, extend out into threat, and then come back in, holster the firearm, and you're ready to go for the drills. We extend to the threat because it gets you in a good habit of doing a proper push out from the high ready position. I always want to push it out. I'm going to take as much time as I can every day I can to get a little bit of practice in. And if it's every time I load the gun, it's every time I load the gun. If I'm at my house, for instance, I do it a little bit differently. It's against a safe backdrop, of course, but I have a place on my wall. There's a business card taped to it exactly where I do it every day, and I'm actually aiming at that business card. Thanks very much. We'll see you on the next
You're
trip.
telling me that that's what you're advising to people to do. Every time they load a gun when they draw it, or if they're at training, or both. I'm kind of unclear there, but regardless, I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. You put a magazine
Doing
in.
a press check is like not carrying one in the chamber. It's the same amount of time. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like
A number of issues here. First of all, why in the hell are you carrying an empty gun on your side? First of all, second of all, why would you want to get in the habit? You know, I mean, we do this. We do practice and we do tactical reloads or high-speed reloads as a training scenario for worst-case scenario. Why in the world would you want to put that muscle memory into that situation where you actually press check your gun before you engage the target? Doesn't make any sense.
There's two things. I have confidence in today's modern technology as it is in terms of a weapon. I have confidence that sound that I know that when I insert a magazine and I rack a gun, even when someone hands me their gun, Ross, I go right back to that same thing. What's the condition of this gun? If I don't know what the condition of the gun is, I find out.
The bullet comes out and let it lay.
Got it.
It's not that big a deal.
You drop the mag, and you start over, and then there again, I'm in control. I know what the condition is. There's two things. Like I said, A, I'm confident with today's modern weapons that when I rack it and I hear that sound and I feel it, I know that a round goes in there and it's ready to go. I've done it enough times.
I'm no trainer.
I've done it enough times. I'm not a trainer, but I've done it enough times. And I'm also just confident in myself as an adult to make sure that every time when I holster a gun or again, put it on my body, I know what condition it's in. I don't need to check it. I hate that word check, because what you're doing is you're saying, I'm not confident about what my condition my gun's in. To me, that's all. So I'll end it that way.
It's so dumb. Not to mention you could take the gun out of battery, but that way as well.
And I don't know anything about that particular instructor, and I don't know what his methodology is. And of course, there might be more to that video than what he presented there.
Sure.
But bad information can be presented by anybody at any time. And it's up to you, the consumer, to at least use your common sense in situations like that. You would never want to add a second step or a third step into that you wouldn't need to in a high stress situation. And if you train for it, you'd be surprised how quickly your hand's going to go back for that press check.
And if you don't agree with Ross, leave a comment in the section below. All right, let's move on. 2 more quick things, and then we'll get out of here. The key bar giveaway, I'll be sending someone an email after the show, let you know that you get to pick from some of the new key bars that we're getting in for giveaways. This is just too good not to share. And I love you, buddy, but I have to share it because it's just so funny. Our good friend and owner of one of the great sponsors of the Inspire series, and again, just a great guy.
Hey, just shout out real quick to I don't know
oh,
if
there you go.
back
Ross
the
got
shirt.
the shirt on. Ross got the shirt on.
Triumph
Triumph Systems. Navy SEAL Jared Ogden put up a video called Shock Therapy. He went to a simulation training thing, and this place has a twist, Casey. I don't know if you saw this one or not. Did you see this?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love. I'll have to skip around the video a little bit. Just watch this. So this is how it starts.
I'm gonna fuck All right, I am here with Patrick Eicher, Frogman classmate from Buds, 265, in Weird in Detroit.
So they're at their place in Detroit at hold on,
So
close quarters
if we
tactics.
screw up, we're gonna get shocked.
And they've got these little shock batteries on their back. So watch how this video goes down. It's great. The last one's my favorite. I love the concept. Here's the best one, Ross. Watch this.
So it's hitting them hard.
Oh yeah, zap the crap out of it. But look at what I liked about it, and again, shout out to Close Quarters Tactical in Detroit. It looks like it's almost, not 360, but at least 180 and then some. And not only that, it's different scenarios. Looked like it was inside a bank. Looked like it was outside. This obviously looks like an old town in the Middle East somewhere. So cool stuff. Funny video. Shout out to Jared and those guys as well.
Nice. Yeah, we got one of those in town. I need to go check it out. It just opened.
All right, let's wrap it up. And what else? Oh, we had question of the week. We didn't even do it. We had a question of the week.
Oh, you got to do it.
I know.
It's a great question.
Here we go.
Shout
Good
out
morning,
to
everyone.
Schwell
Schwell here with another question of the week brought to you by Gun News Weekly. Don't forget to check out Gun News Weekly every Thursday night at 9 p.m. So the question of the week was sparked by a topic or a discussion on Facebook a couple of days ago. Someone was asking information about insurance, firearm insurance. They were going through I guess the same insurance company that they have their vehicle and homeowners insurance through. And there were certain stipulations that were required for that company. But my question to you is, do you even bother with firearm insurance? I know I have a couple of policies, and I just wanted to know if you do as well. And just to build on that, this is the bonus side of the question, and this is to do specifically with that discussion on Facebook.
Bonus.
If the insurance company is asking you for your serial numbers ahead of time, if you are trying to start up insurance for your firearms and the insurance company asks you for the serial numbers of all of the firearms that you own, do you give them that information, or is that a deal breaker for you? Do you go and find another insurance carrier? Now, I know I have my insurance through NRA. It covers theft in the house or lost in the house, as well as extends out to my vehicle as well. And for the money, I thought it was a bargain, so it was a no-brainer for me. But they didn't ask for serial numbers, at least not that I saw in the paperwork. Does that matter to you? But this is Schwell with another question of the week brought to you by Gun News Weekly. And I hope you're all out there having fun, being safe, and also being responsible. And I hit you with the 2 fingers.
Ross, you go first. What you got?
I think if you expect somebody to pay for your guns after something happens at your house, that they have a right to know what guns you have and what those serial numbers are so that they can replace like gun with like gun, not a description of something that could be really anything, right?
Do they have the right to get your serial numbers before they grant you the policy?
Dude, the fact of the matter is if you're expecting somebody else to pay for your loss, then it's there. You have to abide by what they want from you. Is it a threat to like a registry or something? Probably not. But for those more careful than others, maybe insurance isn't the way to go. Maybe burying them in the backyard is.
I think there's a couple things to talk about. The insurance of your guns, the insurance for things like, again, if you shoot somebody in a concealed carry self-defense case, there's insurance for that. There's a couple things, but we're talking about guns here. Homeowner's policy is pretty basic, and you can get a rider or an add-on for most stuff. Casey, can you speak on that?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I do, guys. I mean, this is I sell insurance for the largest property and casualty insurer in the United States that rhymes with
Allegedly.
hate farm. And I would never advise somebody to rely on their homeowners you can add guns are going to be covered on most policies, $1,500, but nowadays your deductible is probably going to be $1,000. So you can extend it to $2,500. Most companies offer a personal articles policy that stands alone from your homeowners. And what it does, it allows you to list anything. I mean, like on mine, I've got my drone,
jewelry, shoes,
laptop. I mean, you can put really whatever you want if you're willing to pay the price. When it comes to guns, they're, in my opinion, a little expensive. And if you have the sickness as bad as I do, and like a lot of my customers do, I talk more people out of these policies than into them. And it's because of the price over the long term. In my opinion, you're much better off buying a very high quality gun safe for your guns.
Interesting.
Now, I do have people that go ahead and do it. They've got maybe a smaller collection. And it does, the key is nowadays you do not want to make a homeowner's claim unless you absolutely have to, because it follows you and you will pay for it over the long term. So if you are going to do it, do not take anything that's affixed to your homeowners. Get the separate policy. Most people call it a personal articles policy. Get that, and they're all rated by, it's a certain number of dollars per 100 is what the premium is. Most of them don't even have a deductible. No mainline insurer is going to carry you for if you have to use your gun. There's different specialized companies that offer, $2, $3, $4, $10 million, have the lawyer at bay if something happens. I definitely recommend that type of insurance, but that's going to be a company that only does that. I do know that if you do want to insure your guns, me and just about every other insurer out there, they are going to want to know a serial number because they're going to have to be able to identify that gun, as yours. So I don't think you're going to get away without.
Why? If I get a ring insured, I don't have to. There's no serial number.
Yeah,
Well,
but Kevin, if you get your
there's
car
not.
insured, they're not going to insure your car without the serial number.
Without a VIN number, correct.
Right.
Well, and with a ring, what's required of that is you have to have a professional appraisal done.
Oh, okay. All right.
But KC rings aren't serialized, so irrelevant.
They're not
It's not
serialized, but those appraisals are extremely detailed to the point where, in diamonds, they tell you where the location of every single inclusion is on that diamond. It's pretty, to someone that's in that business, somebody can look at that 3-page appraisal and basically look at a piece of jewelry and tell you if that's it or not. They're that detailed. So yeah, I mean, you have to. Do I think the insurance company's doing anything with that information? Absolutely not. Just because it's not, they're not in that business. I mean, they're just looking at it as a way to identify it. You know, and I'm sure you could probably get away with an AR and just say that you built it, as long as you could produce receipts. You may not have to forfeit that serial number. I haven't run into that situation yet. Again, because most people that ask the question have amassed enough guns to where it's probably worthwhile to tell them, hey, you should probably just buy safe.
So alarm system, dog, good door locks, and then a big ass safe.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and safes don't have to be just for guns. I mean, people seem to forget that too.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
Do
great.
yourself one better. Save the money that it costs to buy all those guns. Put it in the bank, and if you lose your guns, buy them back.
What?
You'll save more in the end.
yeah, no, I mean,
Now you're
it's
doing
not.
math.
It's not. I mean, the money. Look, I mean, I sell insurance. That's how I feed my kids. That's how I feed my hobbies, and that's how I live. And you can over-insure yourself. And this is one of those items that I feel like, you know, it's up to you. But in my opinion, you know, you just got to look at, hey, I mean, when you insure something, you pass off the risk on somebody else. And you just got to ask yourself, is it worth it?
Right.
You look at the dollars and say, hey, you know.
And it's always going to cost you money. Isn't that correct, Casey? I mean, it's always going to cost you more than what they're going to pay you.
All right.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, if you have a loss, then yes. But I mean, most people don't have losses. I mean, that's just the way it
The
is.
statistics are that you'll pay more than
Yeah, I mean, look,
how many losses, right? I mean,
in
really,
the insurance business, only 2% of the customers have a loss in a year.
right?
You know,
That's
it's just a
fascinating.
matter of, are you going to be in that 2%? You know.
Thanks for the
So-
insight, bro.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Couple things to talk about on the way out of here. Appreciate you guys jumping in, Ross. As always.
Hey, Casey, real quick before we get out of here, if you make a claim on that gun, if it gets stolen, doesn't the insurance company own it once they give you the check?
Not necessarily. There are. It depends on the company. I've had people that have had things that were stolen and then it's recovered later, or things that were lost that become found. And the honest people that come back and say, hey, you know, we found this item and they've been paid out for it, you know, they'll work something out with the company.
Little payment plan.
But no, it doesn't necessarily become, you know, if you wanted that item, if your gun was stolen and you recovered it and the insurance company had paid you, that's still yours to make the decision. They may want their money back, you know, but they're not going to take your gun and say, hey, you can't have this. This is ours now.
Gotcha. Especially if it's something that's special that you built or put together.
Right. I mean, you have to, just like a car. I mean, you can get your totaled car back if you want it.
Right.
I mean, you have to sign off on it, the fact that, you know, hey, this is your salvage to do with whatever you want with it.
Your background is so mysterious compared to my brightly lit, professional looking features.
I'm a man of mystery.
You are.
I'm thinking about putting a disco ball behind mine. Be
Don't.
back.
Ross, thanks for jumping on. We'll see you next week, bro.
Yeah,
We
man.
went late. Casey as well. On the way
Yeah,
out,
man.
please, you can help support us by jumping over on tacdaddy.com and everydaycarrylife.com. Spikes Tactical lower parts kits back in stock enough to put them on the site and say they're for sale. You can get them. I got two
Nice.
versions. And we wanted to, on the way out, also thank Frank and everybody that has supported the show along the way. And with a heavy heart tonight, there's a lot of friends that are feeling the loss tonight. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but one of the builders at Spikes, a youngster, by my accounts, guy's half my age, Dalton Cox, lost his life in a motorcycle accident and is no longer with us. And there's a lot of people that have been deeply affected. It's basically our extended families. Again, I don't know the guy personally, but there's a lot of people that we know that did. And it's a tragedy. And our hearts go out to the Spikes family and everybody associated with Dalton and Dalton Cox. We hope you rest in peace, brother.
See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
And clear there, and we're clear over here.